Good morning, everybody. It's 10 a.m. We're going to call to order the Tuesday, October 26th Board of Commissioners meeting. If you would, please rise with us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. At this time, we will accept public comment for items that do not appear on our agenda. Is there any public comment at this time? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will take public comment for items that do appear on our agenda when they're under consideration. Is there any additions to the agenda at this point? Any additions? Okay, hearing none, we would look for a motion to approve our minutes from October 19th, 2021.
Motion to approve the minutes from the October 19th Board of Commissioners meeting.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Any final discussion on the minutes? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye?
Aye.
The motion is carried. Okay. We're going to head into proclamations for our agenda today, and we are really honored to have some guests with us today for Proclamation 35 of 2021. I think we're going to welcome them up to our table and podium, please. We have Brian Query, who is our Director of Veterans Affairs for Center County. We also have Sharima Young, retired Colonel Eugene McFeely, and also Colonel Leigh Hayveard. And I want to say a special welcome to everybody for joining us today for Military Appreciation Month in Center County. So we're going to turn it over to you all today. So I don't know if Brian, if you want to kick it off maybe, or Sharima, whoever. Okay, all right.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having us again this year. As you know, last year we missed, but we thank you for being here this year. And this year's theme, we are honoring Pennsylvania National Guard for Military Appreciation Month for Center County. And we are super excited that we have a lot of events this year. The dates that we kick off are actually November 8th through the 20th. So November 8th through the 20th. The Military Appreciation Game will be the Rutgers game on November 20th. And I think that Eugene can tell you a little bit more about some of the events that we're going to have on campus, but we're just so glad to do this in conjunction with partners like Center County recognizing it.
Yeah, and again, and thank you for having us all here this morning and for recognizing Military Appreciation Month, a very important time for those of us who served our families and the community as well. So at Penn State, this is our 10th year as a sustained effort for military appreciation, and of course we've partnered with Center County over the past years with the proclamation as we go through here. So a lot of great events planned this year, starting off with Veterans Day ceremony, Old Main Lawn at 11:11. We also have a military appreciation hockey game, so there will be reduced rate tickets for the hockey game on November 11th. We have a downtown event planned for the Borough State College on the 14th of November on Sunday. And then we'll also have our annual student veteran panel on the 16th of November. And then as Sharima said, we'll close out again this year with the football game. So pretty big event. The tailgate's postured to serve over 9,000 people. Again, Walmart, our huge supporter and provider for the volunteers for that event, are going to support us for that. And then we'll have the football game. And if anybody in the community is looking for an opportunity to help out, we are looking for volunteers to help us with the Military Appreciation Tailgate before the game on Saturday, the 20th of November. But again, thank you very much for Center County and the community and how supportive you've been over the years with this event.
Absolutely, thank you.
If somebody wants to volunteer, who do they call or who do they
So you can reach out on Penn State's Military Appreciation website. So it's milappreciation at psu.edu. And all the information for who to contact and how to get a hold of us is located there. Also, if you Google Penn State today, in our military appreciation, there's also an article talking about volunteering for the event.
Excellent. That's great. Please, yeah.
Yes, I just want to thank you for the opportunity for having come to you to represent our joint service ROTC units and the support that we get in the community. I think we can all agree that our nation as a whole is always in a deficit of leadership, and that's what the Reserve Officer Training Corps program provides to all students and cadets that participate in our program, whether they go on to commission or not. So for myself and my counterparts in the Navy and the Army ROTC, we wish to thank you for your commitment and service to supporting our nation's warriors, sailors, soldiers, airmen, Marines, and now Guardians and Space Force. They would definitely replace me if I did not mention them. But I do want to, in all seriousness, just say we appreciate the community supporting the military to show our cadets that their service upon entering active duty is valued and cherished. And our commitment to you is to provide not only those that serve in uniform, but those that serve in their community and those that go on to serve after they hang up the uniform. So thank you very much for being here today.
Fantastic, thank you. Thank you. Please, Brian.
November is always a great month to recognize veterans, but I would be remiss to remember that, we do have 11 months, other months there too of the year. So please, pay attention to those veterans because basically when they were on duty 24/7. So remember them 24/7 as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. November is a special month, obviously, for us here in Center County. We do a celebration at our courthouse as well, and so we hope individuals can join in, and that'll be an amazing event to recognize here in front of our courthouse. But we do want to shine a little bit of light on the work that Brian's done. We received some data in terms of some of the claims that you processed, and your team, Roger and Sherry as well, and it's leading the Commonwealth. I think you're top 5. Beating out certain counties that have much more population than us, but you're doing a great job. Now, we do know that in Center County we have more veterans per capita of them, but still, the fact that they can reach out to you, get the needed benefits, their widows as well, it's really a tremendous thing that your office is doing, Brian. So we just want to recognize you and thank you for all the work that you do on behalf of our veterans.
Thank you, and it is an office, so there's 3 of us up there, so I'm not an office of one, so we
Absolutely.
all work hard up there.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
The team as well. Please pass on our thanks to Roger and Sherry. But please open it up to other comments as well.
Sure. Wanted to thank Penn State for your well-earned reputation as a great place for veterans and for those who would like to serve in the military as potential future officers. I've attended a number of your events, including most recently the POW MIA chair dedication. Very nice ceremony. Very well done, and the weather was fabulous that day, too. Oh, we lucked out on that. So great work at Penn State, and again, wanted to echo what Mike said for Brian, Roger, and Sherry. Hundreds of phone calls, hundreds of emails, every single month, all 12 months of the year. You're doing a fabulous job for helping our veterans here in Center County. Really appreciate it.
Do you have a tally of how many student veterans there are on campus?
Yeah, so we serve approximately 1,000 students that have a military connection with GI Bill benefits and things of that nature. And out of that group, there's probably about 450 that are veterans. So, when we serve the military connected community, it's also dependents, so spouses and children, and that's also serving the veterans. So, pretty good community here.
I would echo my colleagues' sentiments. It certainly is a big thing for us to recognize the folks that have kept us free for well over 200 years. And it's an amazing thing that what Penn State is doing, providing the opportunity for people to recognize. Because sometimes we all get tangled up in a lot of day-to-day activities and don't think about these things, but it's very important that we do focus on it and make sure that people recognize, particularly young people who may not have a greater appreciation of the sacrifice and service that so many people have provided. But it's really an opportunity for us to say thank you and thank Penn State for everything that you all have done to recognize our service members, both past, present, and future.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. So we appreciate the opportunity to raise up and lift up the work that's being done by our Veterans Affairs Office, but also the leadership that Penn State has shown. So we thank you for the continued partnership and collaboration, Shrima, and your team and everybody at the university. We look forward to it for many years to come. So thank you all again. So with that, we would look for a motion to approve today's proclamation.
Certainly, an enthusiastic motion to adopt proclamation number 35 of 2021, proclaiming November as Military Appreciation Month in Center County.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on this? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Okay. Again, thank you so much, everybody, and we look forward to joining you at the events and all the celebration and recognition that's going to be happening this upcoming month. Thank you again.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think we're going to get two made, one for Penn State. Yeah, all right, do that, yeah. Okay. All right. So, we have nothing for our ARPA agenda today, but we do want to welcome our controller, Jason Moser, at this time to discuss a contract renewal. Good morning, Mr. Controller.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for having me this morning. This is a contract renewal before you for Maximus U.S. Services. Maximus does the calculations for our indirect cost allocation plans for our federal awards to primarily our human services departments. And this would be an extension of that contract through December 31st, 2024, and there is no cost increase over the previous 3-year contract to this new extension.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, comments, or feedback on this item? Okay. Hearing none, we'd look for a motion to add to next week's consent agenda.
Motion to add the contract renewal with Maximus U.S. Services to next week's consent agenda.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? We should mention this would be for the Thursday consent agenda. We will not be meeting for our
Okay.
due to the municipal election, but it'll be for Thursday,
Well, I'll amend it for Thursday.
which is technically next week still, so we're
True.
still good. All right. Any final discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is carried. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Okay, Warden, please. Yes, we'll welcome up Warden Shell to the podium to discuss our housing agreements. Good morning, Warden.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's having a wonderful week. Bringing to the board today an intergovernmental housing agreement designates Center County Correctional Facility as facilitating housing of Tennant County inmates. The contract per rate is 65. The period of the contract is November 4th, 2021 through December 31st of 2023 for the following counties: Clearfield County, Elk County, Lycoming County, Montour, Northumberland, Schuylkill, Snyder, and Union. As of now, we have a few other ones that will be coming in later as time comes.
Okay. Thank you, Warden. Any questions or feedback on this item?
Just wanted to thank all the other stakeholders we work with, including the great job that Warden Shell and all of his staff do at the correctional facility, but also the judges, probation, criminal justice, all of the other departments, even mental health, drug and alcohol, that we have so much space in our correctional facility at this point that we can help out the other counties throughout the state.
I think it's important that we recognize that we have the opportunity to help our sister counties across the region.
Just wanted to let you get something. Kind enough to let Shrema borrow it. Yeah.
But anyways, I think it's very important for us to recognize the importance of helping out our sister counties across the region. They all have been very helpful to us over the course of time, and certainly it not only offsets some of our expenses, but it provides a much needed service to those counties that may not have the space to properly house their inmates. So it's a good opportunity for us to be helpful.
Okay. We look for a motion at this time then.
Motion to add the 8 intergovernmental housing agreements to Thursday's consent agenda.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Okay. Thank you again, Warden. Take care.
Thanks.
Okay. We'll welcome up Natalie at this time for some human service items. Good morning, Natalie.
Morning. So we have a variety of contracts today. The first one is for State College Medical for this current fiscal year, so they can provide their outpatient services, medication assistant treatment, and case management. That contract total is for $30,000 for this current fiscal year. Contracts 2 and 3 and 4 are addendums for our previous fiscal year, 2021. These were billings that come in as we are finalizing the funding that we spend during our fiscal year as reports are due to the Commonwealth. So Quest, we are increasing it by $26,633. This reflects a rate change that we were able to support Quest outpatient services for, so that reflects the rate change. SendClear is for peer support, and SendClear is the provider, one of the 2 peer providers that are working with us on our first episode psychosis program. So that was an increase to peer services that we did, as well as to SendClear for early intervention services as the need kind of started to increase at the end of the fiscal year for that. So all of it is state funded with a county match as required. And contracts 5 is for Center for Community Resources. So this is our crisis provider. They're both our telephone, our mobile, and again, as a reminder, our walk-in center that opened in late 2019, early 2020. That contract total is for $100,000 with a county match of $4,610. And then contracts 6 or 7 are again with SendClear for this current fiscal year. Again, highlighting that we use SendClear for both our mental health services as well as our early intervention services.
Thank you very much, Natalie. Any questions or comments on these items? Okay. Hearing none, we look for a motion.
Motion to add the mental health, intellectual disability, early intervention, drug and alcohol, items 1 through 7 to Thursday's consent agenda.
We'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, for our next item, we have a memorandum of agreement between the Center County Housing Land Trust and the county. So we're going to welcome up Ray Stolinas, our Director of Planning, and Missy Schoonover from the CCHLT.
Hello, morning commissioners.
Morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Annually, we visit the memorandum of agreement between Center County and the Center County Housing and Land Trust. Our agreement runs from November 1st through October 30th, and we're asking for the commissioners to consider renewing that agreement. This includes up to 5 hours a week. Betsy Barnt, who's our Housing and Community Development Coordinator, assists the Center County Housing and Land Trust up to that time frame for the technical assistance, and I'll let Missy discuss any other items that she wants to add to the MOA.
Absolutely. Again, good morning. Thank you for having us again. We're wrapping up another year of an excellent partnership with the planning department. And when Ray says that we receive technical assistance, let me tell you what that means. Our relationship is such a blessing because it allows our agency, which our agency is a 501c3 with 1 staff member, me, a part-time executive director. So we're really mostly volunteer driven. So it gives me access to work with the professionals, the experts in planning and development, so that when I go out and work with municipalities and how they can create programs and create policy for attainable housing, I have access to people that are in the know. Further, it allows us to have a regionalized approach for planning and for housing initiatives across all regions of Center County, and not just municipalities that may or may not be working with us at that time. So having that presence from Center County government at our table is critical. So it goes beyond Betsy being a helper. She is a huge helper, but it goes so much further than that. We're able to create permanently affordable housing across the county by working together. So it's just, I can't emphasize enough how much I appreciate the support for that.
Absolutely. And the partnership is, it's a mutual partnership because we gain a lot of knowledge from what you're seeing on the ground. The board of directors that makes up the trust, it's helpful to see their vantage points from the regional nature. So it's a very helpful organization for us to continue to partner with and assist. Absolutely. Absolutely. Any other questions or comments on the MOA?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. We'll look for a motion then.
Motion to add the MOA with the Center County Housing and Land Trust to Thursday's consent agenda.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing. Oh, please, right. Yeah, please.
Just one additional comment. In previous years, too, I know the commissioners have committed some Act 137 dollars to the CCHLT for programming and assistance with other programs that they're looking at throughout the county within municipalities that are looking at affordable housing programs. So I believe we'll be providing another request to the commissioners for that type of fiscal support. I believe in the past 3 or 4 years, it's been a $10,000 commitment from Act 137. So you'll be seeing that commitment letter from CCHLT asking for that amount for 2021. We knew there were uncertainties with the budget, and now since we've gone through most of the year and looking at Act 137, it might be worth taking another look at whether that commitment can be made to CCHLT. So just wanted to add that.
Absolutely. I think it's good to highlight that as we are holding our our budget meetings as we go into next year, and we can certainly discuss that. And I think we'll consider it very much. And yes, absolutely. So, and we'll let you know the determination of that as we go forward,
I
Missy.
appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And we understood last year with
Sure,
COVID,
absolutely.
everything was,
Absolutely.
I don't know what the right word is. It was crazy.
Tangled up.
Uncertain. It was uncertain, so we do appreciate it.
Absolutely. No, thank you. Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving this to next week's consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay, thank you both.
Thank
And
you.
then I think Ray's going to be
Yeah, I'm gonna
staying
stay.
with us. That's right. Thank you, Missy, again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, and we're going to be welcoming up Allison Ulish from our Conservation District here in Center County, and then Aaron Ledovic from Herbert Roland Grubik Incorporated. So good morning to both of you today.
morning.
How are you all?
Good morning.
Good.
Excellent, how are you?
Good, thank you. We're good, thank you. Okay, please.
Speaking of partnerships, we have another project that the planning department's involved with, along with the conservation district, and that is our countywide action plan that we've developed in 2020. And believe it or not, this is going to be year number 3 that we're asking for consideration to request funds from DEP and Chesapeake Bay program to rehire Herbert Roland and Grubik as our coordinator for that program and utilize their services for January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022. The grant request will be due here next week, so we would like to submit that as part of the coordinator position funding. And Erin can speak to all the help that she's given us. 2020 was a challenging year, and Erin did a wonderful job gathering everybody together, our stakeholders, for the most part virtually, to put that plan together. So we're really proud of that and working together with our conservation district to get that done.
Yeah, please, we'd love to hear a little bit more about it, where the program stands, and the
Yeah,
work
of
that's being
course.
done by conservation as well. So, yeah,
Great.
please.
Perhaps I'll start? Sure. Okay, so I'm pleased to be here after almost 2 years of working for you. So thank you thank you for continuing our appointment, hopefully. To provide you a brief update on our plan, we did finalize it here in January this year. You'll recall that the countywide action plan is prompted by the Chesapeake Bay, but it's really about local water quality improvements. The plan goal was 1.8 million pounds of nitrogen reduction, and the plan, if fully implemented, is estimated to achieve about 40% of that goal. You'll recall that the program was developed and is only partially funded by DEP through the United States Environmental Protection Agency. So we do have timing that we need to work with respect to the 2025 deadline. Plus, it's not a fully funded plan. So we are absolutely working with partners to make sure that we can get as close to our plan achievement as possible. As Ray mentioned, we interacted with over 100 individuals throughout the county last year during plan development, and many of those partners continue to work on watershed improvements here locally, which contribute to our county goals. So just to list a few of those organizations, which I'm sure are familiar to you, that including Clearwater Conservancy, Chesapeake Conservancy, the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, Spring Creek Trout Unlimited, Penns Valley Conservation Association, and also some state and federal agencies, including the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. They all contribute by working with landowners, planting trees, installing stream improvements, and securing funding for projects, which takes a big load off of the county. So the good news is that Center County is very well positioned to work with our partners to contribute to our goals, and we'll continue to work together to implement the plan as fully as possible. I also wanted to mention that there's additional implementation work getting started in the Half Moon Creek watershed, and planning is starting in the Marsh Creek watershed, both being led by Chesapeake Bay Foundation. So if you hear about these activities in the news or in public media, we are connected to those teams, and we're looking forward to those local actions as well. So the first item on the agenda is continuing the coordinator grant, which fortunately can fund our services for Center County. And then the second item is with respect to the block grant request. This is an annual request through your existing agreement with the Department of Environmental Protection. In 2021, Center County received about $345,000 through the block grant and an additional $1 million through the State Conservation Commission with respect to the Conservation Excellence Grant. So you received almost $1.5 million of additional landowner assistance for water quality improvements that you had not previously received. And that is especially because of your leadership that you took to move forward with the countywide action plan 2 years ago. So last year's dollars are likely to contribute about 13,000 pounds of nitrogen reductions. This year's block grant request is for 2 landowners, 2 farm landowners. And we're asking for a $460,000 request, which is anticipated to reduce nitrogen by about 2,300 pounds. And Ally provided an update to the Conservation District Board a few months ago with respect to a lot of the activities that they've been taking the lead on, so wasn't sure if you wanted to provide a quick update there.
Sure. Within the countywide action plan, there are several action items, and the countywide action plan does primarily focus on agriculture, as it is the largest source of water quality impairment in Center County, although it is not the only source of water quality impairment. But agriculture is intrinsic to the fabric of Center County, and agriculture is quite important to Center County's economy. And this grant provides farmers with the opportunity to recognize that clean water is essential to their farming operation as well. So the farmers that we are working with to implement the 2021 CAP block grant, all 5 of those projects are set to be complete by the end of the year, and the farmers that we are working with are so far happy with the results of the projects to benefit their farming operations and also to benefit clean water. And we're really proud of the nitrogen and phosphorus and sediment reduction goals that we're able to meet on those projects with regards to the CAP. The 2 farmers that we're working with for the 2022 CAP block grant, equally as excited, with a heavier focus on sediment reduction. But I'm happy to share the deliverables related to the specific action items in the CAP with the commissioners if they would like to see so. Thank you.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. So as we see the plan currently funded, is it through 2025 that we're going to be receiving these allocations, or is it a little bit uncertain every year as the state budget and federal budgets are constructed?
My understanding that is 2025 was a horizon.
The current grant agreement goes through 23,
Okay.
but our expectation is that it will be extended. Unfortunately, DEP's allocation for this program dramatically increased just in the last year. I think it went from $6 million to $16 million for the overall program. However, every county within the Chesapeake Bay watershed is now also part of the program. So we're going to do our best to make sure that as many dollars as can be come to Center County and get spent each year.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, we're considered a Tier 2 county, and fortunately for us, we have a coordinator for our county. I know in some of the northern counties within the Bay, they have shared counties and one coordinator, so we're fortunate to have Aaron under this program and HRG's assistance. It's for one county plan.
Does it sound like we still have $500,000 to allocate for 2022? We have $1 million. This is using about $500,000. Is there another $1 million of projects that we're looking at? Is that a correct understanding of this?
On the CEG dollars?
Correct, yes.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, great, good.
Sure. The State Conservation Commission approached Center County back in January of this year because they were reaching out to all of the CAP watersheds in Tier 1 and Tier 2, and now I believe they're expanding the Conservation Excellence Grant Program into the Tier 3 counties for this upcoming year. And almost all of the $1 million that we were provided, we were initially set to receive $750,000 and received an additional $250,000 because of the Conservation District's commitment to allocating the projects and our previous track record with implementing successful farm projects. So we were granted an additional $250,000, of which I believe we only have $170,000 left to allocate to farm projects. And we are actively working on solidifying those relationships with farmers for the final farm projects to be funded. But all of those will be completed by the end of 2023. So the CEG contract runs a little bit differently. It runs from 2021 to 2023 with the expectation that it will be renewed for 2023 to 2025.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other questions, comments?
I was just going to say, well, we have a tremendous partnership here between our planning office and the Conservation District. And Ally, I think you and Dana Beckstrand do a great job of shepherding the farming community through a lot of the the almost tedious amounts of permitting and inspections that have to occur. But I just want to say thank you for that. But also, I don't know, a lot of people don't appreciate how, Pennsylvania is part of the Chesapeake Bay Agreement. And by being in that, we have the expectation that we have to make these nutrient load reductions. And it's a challenge, and it's almost an ambiguous, it's almost like a mystical beast. It's, how do you get there? The agricultural community is obviously part of it. We're all a part of it. And making sure that we reduce that load is part of our responsibility under that agreement. And this is just one of the many components to make that happen. And we want to say thank you to all, and HRG for helping us out in that effort as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bertram.
It sounds like we're helping our local farms and also the local fish. So appreciate that, and glad to hear we're working with over 100 different stakeholders, but with Clearwater Conservancy being one of the major ones. I know we do a lot of joint work with them. So again, thanks for the effort, and sounds like we're making progress. And as I remember, the $1 million was like the largest grant of this type that Center County's ever received in its history. So thank you to the state legislators and DEP for that assistance.
Fantastic. All right, so I think we're at the point now where we can look for a motion to add these to next week's consent agenda.
Motion to add the planning and community development items 1 and 2 to next week's consent agenda.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Any final discussion or comments? Any questions? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion is carried. Thank you all very much for all your work.
Good work. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ray.
Oh, you've one more after the
One more
consent.
for the road.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right, look for a motion to approve today's consent agenda.
Motion to approve today's consent agenda.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion is carried. So we are going to turn it over back to Ray one more time. In terms of transportation, we'll talk a little bit about that. Oh, okay, looks like we have some visual aids, Ray.
Yes.
Maybe you can give us some context there.
The first letter of support that's being requested is from College Township. This time of year, PennDOT has opened up their multimodal transportation fund application for various transportation projects, road, bridge, and shared use path. The two letters of support you have in front of you are shared use path projects. The first one, as I said, College Township is requesting funding in the amount of $2.8 million for the Puddintown Road to Hastings Road connection. This goes from Puddintown all the way up into campus in State College Borough. It's approximately 4,800 feet of length within right-of-way, and they would like to improve and extend bike and pedestrian access along that route, and they're asking for a letter of support from the commissioners. I've already supplied them with a letter of consistency with our Greenway plan and also our County Comprehensive Plan Phase 1 and 2.
Why don't we do that second one too, if that's okay?
Sure. State College Borough submitted a request as well. This is two phases of improvements within right-of-way. The first phase is the Easterly-Westerly Parkway. It's 1.6 miles of shared use path. The first section, again, is along Easterly-Westerly Parkway to University Drive and O'Brien Lane. And the second section is along Blue Course Drive to Orchard Park Bikeway to Whitehall Road. As you can tell with those connections, there are a variety of residential, park and public access points within the borough. This project's a total of $1.2 million that they'll be requesting funding for.
All right, we have these two letters of support in front of us. Any comments or questions for Ray?
I think it's especially appropriate right now. We had a bicycle fatality, I think it was last week, and then just on Sunday, we had another serious injury of a cyclist on North Atherton. I think both of these suggestions are tremendous. I know there's a lot of excitement for the ability to go from the current bike path along the bypass to just safely pop into campus. It's right on my commuting route. I see a lot of cyclists, but also a lot of pedestrians walking along the shoulder of College Avenue. And I mean, people go 50, 55 miles an hour on that road, and you've got pedestrians walking feet away from them. It's pretty dangerous. And then also, I know lots and lots of people use Easterly and Westerly Parkway as commuting routes to eventually take one of the other bike paths towards campus. So wonderful to see that. Very, very supportive of this.
All right, fantastic. All right, so I think we're going to be looking for a motion to approve both letters of support for College Township and the Borough of State College.
Motion to approve the letters of support for College Township and State College Borough.
Seconded.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay, Ray, thank you very
I think I'm
much.
finally done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
Oh, keep going. More multimodal walking and biking paths. I'm all for that.
Okay, and we have no oh, please, yes.
Just one thing to update the Board of Commissioners on, and that is our winterization roof project is underway this week. I know that we've been very interested in getting that taken care of before the bad weather sets in. So it's not only winterization, but it is some temporary fixes for some parts of the roof that needed patching. We are underway with the RFP process to replace the roof in the spring, but that work is taking place this week, so I wanted you to be aware of that.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Okay. We have our check run today. We'll turn it over to Commissioner.
Sure, larger than average check run of $2,067,608.15. And the check of the week is a big one. It's to Navitas LLC and Center First for $592,628. You might wonder why we're sending somebody a check that large. That was the second check toward the Titan Energy Park plant upgrade that you could practically see out the windows here. I know Jason and Steve both live in Bellefonte, and they very much enjoy a lot of the local nightlife we're starting to have. And this project, of course, helped put a good solid roof and energy upgrades for Axman Brewery, for Blonde Bistro, for Titan Markets, and eventually for the cidery. So just wanted to highlight the county assisting with projects of this type, but the funding actually came from the state legislature. So would like to make a motion to approve the check run dated October 22nd.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the check run. Any final discussion on it? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay. We have a CNET request to help sponsor the John H. Ziegler Historical Preservation Awards, and this will be held on January 23rd, 2022 at Center Lifelink EMS Building in State College. And we look for a motion to approve that sponsorship.
Motion to approve the sponsorship of the John H. Ziegler Historic Preservation Awards.
Second.
All right, so moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay, and over to Commissioner Drake.
All right, our voter registration report this morning includes 105,133 registered voters. That's up 26 from last report. And the highlight reel reads as follows. Democratic voters, 44,137. Green Party, 144. Libertarian, 682. No affiliation, 14,093. And the Republican count is 42,210. Again, when you add the 3,867 other party members, you get the 105,133. The feature party of the week is the bipartisan party, and the bipartisans have won. So there is one bipartisan. So I guess he splits his loyalty, or she splits her loyalty. So I'd also like to feature the precinct number 45, which is Curtin North, which if Dave Lomison is still in the room, he will appreciate as voting at the Orviston Bible Church in Orviston. And in the primary election, there were 48 registered voters in precinct number 45. There were 26 ballots cast, which leads to a percentage voter turnout of 54.17, which is pretty high for the folks in Curtin North, and really appreciate the good Reverend and his folks allowing us to use the Bible Church once again. But the folks that really make it happen in precinct number 45, the judge of election is Mary Olive Louise Lomison, a close relation to Dave, and Minority Inspector Heather Burfield, Majority Inspector Phyllis J. Moore, and the clerks are Deborah Burfield and Joseph Moore. So we want to thank again everyone for making it happen in Precinct 45. That's it.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. We do want to mention and announce that county, in addition to us not meeting next Tuesday due to the municipal election coming up, again, the Board of Commissioners will be meeting on Thursday, on the 4th of November at 10 a.m. for our business meeting. But we will also be closed in recognition and observance of Veterans Day on Thursday, November 11th. So we do want to mention that before we conclude today. Any executive sessions to report? None. Okay. Thank you, Margaret. Any questions today? Gary?
What's the current ballpark inmate population?
About 180, 190. About 120 are individuals from Center County. About 60, 70 are individuals from our tenant counties.
Some programs tied to COVID and the pandemic, are they continuing there or are they no longer in terms of moving inmates out or whatever?
Sure. No, we no any of the release program or the release that we did to lower the population, make it safe for the workers in the facility and also the incarcerated individuals was done, April of 2020. We aren't doing that the type of releases anymore. But any of the programs in terms of Bible study, work programs, anything like that, those are all occurring, and we're moving more programs in person, less virtual, doing the best we can, just again to mitigate the Delta variant that we're seeing currently.
You folks said last week the county is set in terms of poll workers for next week. Is that still the case?
It is, yeah. We're extraordinarily blessed. We had a great training. Our director of elections, director of elections, our elections coordinator, Jody and Beth did a great job putting those trainings on. And we had over 200 of our poll workers come out to receive those trainings. So very well attended, and we're really excited for polls opening in a little bit less than 7 days.
The money the county received last year by the foundation funded by Mark Zuckerberg,
Sure.
were all counties open to apply for that money?
They were, yes. Yes.
And are there items the county purchased for the election last year you are still using?
Yes.
So it wasn't just that election that money was, there's still other items you can use this year.
That's correct, yeah. The benefit that we saw was we could make some investments for election equipment that'll benefit not just previous elections, but also future ones as well. Election equipment tends to have a fairly long lifespan, and some of the machines that we use are not proprietary to any specific election system. They're just manufactured, and they happen to work to process ballots or process envelopes, or anything like that. So, but again, the majority of the money did go to directly to support our poll workers and help them make sure that they could come out and have a safe election. So yeah, it benefits us not just now, but in future elections.
There was also a couple of vehicles purchased that are still in service. One in the elections office and one in the sheriff's office. So there has been a lot of actual residual benefit from the expenditure of those funds.
This year, is the county getting any similar so-called outside money for the election?
No, we are not receiving any additional grants for the election. We do have still funds left over from a grant that we got during the height of the pandemic via the federal government, that we received money, and the state government, that we have until December of 2022 to spend. So if we did need to, have any overages, whatnot, we could use those funds. It's about $80,000. But again, I think that our direction from our new election director has been, let's wait until next year, where we may see some additional costs that we haven't put in our budget for this year. But no other funds are going to be received in any other source.
Is there an average cost per election for the county, or is each one different?
Yeah, each one has its own picadillos. Yeah, it all goes towards mainly staffing, and again to the poll workers. Our poll workers are one of our largest line items, but it generally doesn't fluctuate too much, except for presidential, where we do have additional costs for temporary workers and other overtime as well.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none. We look for a motion then to adjourn at 10:44.
Motion to adjourn at 10:44.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, very much.